Good evening, chat, and welcome to the show. I am so glad that you guys are here because I have a couple of funny events to mention. Um, Most of you probably know that I'm making a video game, and associated with that video game is a Discord server. Now, as you can imagine, my server is a little bit atypical. When I started the server, I expected that everyone would talk about tits and violence, right? Like it was a server dedicated to a hentai game. So I expected that I would be ruling over a lot of Khmers, over a lot of Japanese-oriented people. I did not expect that I would rule over people that bring the politics from my channel onto that server. And unfortunately, there is this I guess like mixture, this level of inbred between a weeb and a racist and a misogynist, right? So as you can imagine, my server is a little bit colorful. Yesterday, we had the little lost lamb. A person with pronouns in their bio. It had he, him. He, him in his bio, right? And he was he was trying to tone police the people in my server. Didn't work out very well. Usually, I don't check my server as often as I would like. I'm still there, usually, if people tag me or anything, but, you know, like, I still have to make 4 YouTube videos a day. I still have to make a live stream. I just don't have the time to stay around and chat as much as I would like. But this time someone pinged me. Like, someone was like, V, there is a problem. Like, we have a problem. And I'm like, what is happening? What is going on? Woman, right? The developers actually led with this trailer where the main character just grabs a woman that's running away from him and starts, like, punching her. And you find out that the reason he is doing this is because she's an outlaw. And so, like, his fists are rated E for everyone. If you're an outlaw, he's going to punch you. The only unrealistic thing is the fact that she doesn't get knocked out after the first punch. I mean, I'm looking at the body type difference, right? Which is interesting because, like, a lot of leftists that always are, like, for more realism, right? Like, they want more realism in their video games. Like, women should have smaller tits for realism. You know, you can't have women too beautiful. They need realism. Well, when you have a medieval game called Crimson Desert, I think, and you have like a man applying medieval logic to the female outlaw, all of a sudden there's too much realism, there's too many problems, right? Still, I already made a video about this, and I was explaining how I do not believe any person bitching about it is legitimate. Like, there is no way that you have played video games for the last decade and completely overlooked Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. Like, women getting beaten up in video games is not something new. You know, even in GTA, like, wasn't there, like, the entire controversy because, like, you can run over hookers with a car? Like, it's nothing. It's a nothing burger, right? Like, video game violence towards women is and has always been a thing. Now, if you want violence towards children, now we're breaking the new frontier, right? Because, like, video games usually make sure that children aren't even present. So, GTA, for example, right? Do you notice there's no kids there? Specifically because of this. And so, anyone bitching about it is simply upset that an indie game is becoming popular. That's it. You know, or they're trying to grift. Like, they don't really care about this issue, but they like to pretend they care so they can attack someone. Now, this guy comes onto my server and starts bitching that people agree with me. And the thing is, like, I don't even know if they watch my video. Like, they don't have to agree with me on any other reason besides the fact that what I'm saying is common fucking sense. Like, misogyny in video games literally does not matter. Okay? Like, it's completely fictional. I don't give a fuck. If you can have a video game where you shoot cops, then there is absolutely no reason why you can't have a video game where you have, like, acts of misogyny, in which case, by the way, it's not even misogyny. As I mentioned, like, his fists are rated E for everyone. So, he was really upset that he was like, oh, I just joined the server because I want information on a succubus game. I didn't join the server to be exposed to misogyny. Like, what do I do with that, chat? You know, I kindly showed him the door. It's like, look at that. Oh, there are racists in the server, and I'm like, why? I heard how they talk about Indians. Now, I gotta say, I do not know how my server talks about Indians. I assume I kind of imagine, and I assume, like, what's being discussed on X, it's what's being discussed on my server. Like, I do not believe that my server is that racist that, you know, it can come up with entirely new concepts, entirely new ideas, new stigmas, new stereotypes. No. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, my server is basic bitch. Like, it's just taking what's on X, what's being discussed about Indians, like, on X and putting it there, without breaking the TOS, because, like, I do have moderators, right? So, like, if there was, like, ample racismus that you can't find anywhere except on the Fediverse, I'm pretty sure that my mods would have stepped in. But still, I have found it funny, like, he, him type of individual coming around trying to tone police my server. That was, wow. Yeah, he was concerned. Was very concerned. I'm like, okay, well. I told him, look, just imagine that this server is 2010 and we're stuck in 2010, okay? Like, we haven't advanced from that. Like, we are stuck in mindset in the 2010 era of the internet. And that's how you can understand us, right? Like, we're not racists, we're not misogynists, but we're also not anti-racists, and we're also not feminists. It's like, it's weird. Like, the ideology we have just doesn't exist anywhere else. Hello, Bob. Welcome to the show. Yes, lots of do not redeem. The military component of the special relationship. Oh yeah, we'll talk about the UK in a bit. The thing is, like, but my favorite take, that this is, no, seriously, like, I didn't know what to make of this. He basically said that he is going to his friends and will tell his friends about my video game and about the culture on my server so that his friends don't buy my video game. And I was like, listen, like, you gotta sit down for this, okay? Like, you gotta sit down for it. We need to have a conversation. Look, you're basically saying that my server is filled with disgusting people, okay? Because they're racist and misogynist, right? So we don't have prestige. We're not decent folk. Okay, like, this is what you're saying. We're making a video game with succubases that have big tits. Like, I'm pretty sure the prestige flew out the window the moment we decided to do that, right? Like, we are not the type of company you would keep with your mother at the Thanksgiving dinner anyway, right? Like we're not interested in social status. Like, if we are making a porn game, we're definitely not interested in being accepted at Harvard, all right? So, like, you going around and saying that, oh, these incels, it's like, listen, incels are my main demographic. Like, these are legitimately the people that I'm trying to sell the game to. I don't think that women would buy a femdom game, although maybe, I don't know, but, like, I don't think they would be the meat of it. And I do not believe that married men would buy a porn game anyway. And so, like, when you attack incels, like, you're attacking literally the main targeted demographic, okay? The actual people that would be interested in buying the product. Succubus Studies PhD. This is, holy shit, this is how I should have named myself. This is how I should have named my fucking company. Oh my god. I wonder if there's still time to change it. Probably, but no, I'm not going to change it. I will upset my publisher. But yeah, Succubus Studies PhD. Fuck. 80% would be married men. See, apparently on OnlyFans it's true. Like, on OnlyFans, married men are the majority, because, like, you need money to buy the OnlyFans girl, right? So, like, incels aren't really the demographic there, because they don't really have the money, so... You have a real world transgender, aka SRC maker in the server, and you made me a mod, so yeah, it's probably the most unique server in existence. I don't think it's unique, I think it's like, again, like the 2010 era mindset. Like, I judge people based on personality. Like, if I think you're an asshole, I don't care if you're a cisgender straight white man. And if I think you're cool, I don't care if you're a black lesbian. Like, it genuinely doesn't matter. It's like, what can you contribute to the server? Like, are you funny to be around? Like, can you be entertaining? Are you capable of moderating stuff? Like, literally, that's it. That's the only thing I care when it comes to my server. I'm not inviting them in my family. I'm not trying to emulate people. I am trying to make a community that's legitimately fun to be around. And so, yeah, I don't care. You can be a misogynist. It's fine. Just don't break the rules. You need to be a smart misogynist. You can be a racist. You can be anything you want, really. You can be a Democrat. I don't fucking care. You can be Hassan Piker himself. Like, if you know how not to break the rules and you're funny to be around, you're welcome in my server. In the States, we got this bill called Doing Business As. You don't have to change your incorporated name, just register the Doing Business As. No, it's not that. It's more like the public, has gotten itself used to the idea of the name. Like I would have to change it on the L site. I would have to change it in other places. It's not impossible, like it's doable. But yes, so Succubus Studies PhD is... Anyway, another important announcement. Chat, I have become maidenless for the next 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know exactly how many. Amalgamite is not going to be able to join the show. So M2 is on suicide watch. I'm sorry, but it's true. She has some business with her parents in real life. And so she's not going to be able to grace us with her presence. Which means that the next Saturday, the Saturday after that, and the one after that as well, I'm going to be maidenless. Maybe I will get Lam Lam. I will try to get Lam Lam, yes. Anywho, yeah, I mean, it could. I could change the thing. I also have a logo animated for, yeah, I'll see it. I'll see it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Anyway, let's start talking about the United Kingdom. Let me see if I still have the article. If not, I'll just talk about it from the top of my head. Yeah, I'll probably have to talk about it from the top of my head, because I have a really nice article that summarized everything that Kier Starmer did. But, okay, so I want you to realize the global politics of the United Kingdom in the last couple of years, right? Now, here's the thing. The UK and the United States are allies. And usually, allies do not sabotage each other. Especially on matters of geopolitics, right? Like, the United States doesn't meddle in British internal affairs. The United Kingdom isn't meddling in American affairs. But when it comes to the Middle East and stuff like that, they're supposed to provide a unified front, right? Let's see what's actually happening. So, Kier Starmer recognizes Palestine as a state, while the Americans were in talks with Hamas. Which means that this gives legitimacy to Hamas. And so the terrorists now have a huge incentive to walk away from the talks, which they did. Right? Because, again, like, why did Hamas do what it did? Like, a lot of people forget how it started. But basically, Hamas paraglided over the Israeli wall and videotaped themselves murdering women, children, and the elderly. Now, in my opinion, you can conduct combat operations without butchering civilians. But again, this wasn't Israel. Like, I'm pretty sure Israel benefits from this, right? Like, they definitely went into Hamas, went into Palestine, and, they did a lot of things that Benjamin Netanyahu wanted to do anyway. But Benjamin Netanyahu didn't kidnap the Hamas terrorists and force them to videotape themselves doing this shit, right? So, like, why did they do it? Why did the terrorists do that? Well, the reason the terrorists did that is because they wanted Israel to respond, and they wanted the world to rise up in unity against Israel, right? What happens? No one gave a shit. Egypt didn't give a shit. Saudi Arabia didn't give a shit. Turkey didn't give a shit. The only people that, like, literally cared, the only people that mattered, that cared, was the United Kingdom. And this was happening when there were talks between the United States and Hamas. I'm just pointing it out, right? So, like, that's strike one. the Americans and the Israelis were furious, by the way. Strike two. He refused to allow the U.S., like Kier Starmer, refused to allow the United States to use the U.S. bases in operation during Iran. Now again, like the U.S. bases exist in the United Kingdom because the United Kingdom wanted them there. They're American military. Now, of course, the U.S. could have forced the issue. Like the U.S. could have like, no, they're our bases. We're going to use them. Go fuck yourself, right? But they didn't do that because they have other bases. And they don't want the logistical supply hurdle to get sabotaged by the British and shit like that. And so, yes, like, Trump is pissed off. He basically issued a communication simply saying that maybe it's time for the U.S. to go its own way. Diplomatic relationships are colder than ever. And this is the man that done it all. Like, I just want people to remember this is the architect of this geopolitical situation. Now, again, like, say what you want about the United States and Israel. Like, maybe you don't agree with what's happening there. But you could have, like, the question is, if you're British, like, do you benefit from the Americans or not? Normally, as an island nation, Britain, if it was governed by Churchill right now, they would have played the European Union and the United States and China against each other. So basically, like, they would try to negotiate with all three, and they would get the deal that's best for them. That's pretty much how you should behave as a sovereign nation, right? But in this situation, it seems that Britain just doesn't want the US anymore. Which is weird, because, again, like, when shit went down, like, the United States is still going to be the US with or without the UK, right? Like, if the UK doesn't want to get involved, I mean, that's fine. The United States is still going to go around the Middle East and do empire things. The problem is that, well, the UK is going to suffer the consequences. Because, like, Iran can retaliate against its interests, the price of oil gets fucked, right? And so what is the UK going to do? Well, apparently they made a buffoon of themselves by being unable to even mobilize their fleet. It's like, if you can't mobilize your fleet, you know, then get the American protection. They did another dumb thing. Now the UK actually has since the British Empire, they have one of the only insurance companies in the world that insures oil tankers that go through the Strait of Hormuz. And this is massive for the UK. Like, they're taking like 5% of their nation's GDP with that. I think it's called Lloyd's London or something like that. It's a company. And the British government has used this company in order to punish people geopolitically. So, like, if you're a nation that upsets the empire, the British Empire, well, all of a sudden, the insurance company may not want to insure your ships anymore. If you don't have your ships insured, no one wants to go through the strait. So, in his infinite wisdom, Kier Starmer decided to sabotage the Americans' war efforts by saying, yeah, we're going to stop insuring. The United States go like, okay, we're going to use our military to escort the ships then. All of a sudden, merchants do not need to pay insurance. Do you know how good that is? Like, if you're a company that moves, let's say, 100 oil tankers through that strait, and all of a sudden you don't have to pay insurance because the American military will escort you, holy fucking shit. Now, all that Donald Trump has to do, right, like, if this thing actually becomes routine and they figure out how to do it, because, like, it's a little bit difficult, you know, to escort ships. The American military is not built for escorting ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Like, you need specialized ships, you need tonnage, you need... But like, if they figure it out, and I do think they will figure it out, that's like a huge business opportunity for anyone smart enough in the United States to say, okay, well, hold on a little bit. Like, why can't we provide insurance? And they can start an insurance company. They can commission second-hand military ships that the U.S. would throw away anyway, and they can literally do that. And again, like, this is Britain deciding to be retarded. Like, they wouldn't have had to do it. Like, they could have just said premiums go up. Right? Like, they could have said, well, the insurance price now is higher because there's a conflict there. They would have made a lot of money. Like, none of this makes any decision except if you look at the grand scheme of things. Why exactly is this happening? Why is the UK behaving so irrationally? Well, it's because they're held hostage by their own immigrants. The United Kingdom is the battered wife syndrome. There are certain families that I've noticed when I grew up with where the husband is genuinely misogynist. Like the husband is a wife beater, right? The husband is an alcoholic. Whatever he's stressed up, he beats his wife and kids. That's what he does. Like he genuinely is not a rational person. Like if you're Eastern European, you know what I'm talking about, right? The husband is not a rational person. You can't negotiate or talk to him. If he comes back from work and he's angry, he's going to beat the kids and wife. Like physically, right? There were many families like that when I grew up. Luckily, my one wasn't it. Now, you notice something very interesting happening in that family with the wife. The wife becomes the battered wife, right? So, like, basically, she will do anything to please her husband, even if it's irrational. It doesn't matter, right? Like, she just wants to avoid conflict, no matter the cost. Even if the husband demands something completely insane, she will do it because, like, her whole perspective in life is to avoid violence. But at the same time, she can be very cruel and violent to her kids. Even though, like, the kids are getting beaten too, right? Like, she's very strict with their kids. So, like, she becomes a very tough mother. The battered wife is the British government. The British government is afraid, like, they've been terrorized by Islamic terrorism since the pipe bombings, right? And so, like, they're really afraid of the Muslim population because they can genuinely rise up, they can do terrorist attacks. And on top of that, they love the Muslim population, the same way that the battered wife still loves the husband. Like, there are cases where you have a family with domestic violence, the police comes in, they ask the wife, did anything happen? She goes, no. They ask, okay, like, can we help you out? No. She doesn't press charges, right? Because she genuinely loves the husband, even though, like, he beats her. And the British government, the same. Like, they love their Muslim population. And they love because they need their votes, they need their support, and they don't want any type of violence. So if there's ever a rally, like a far-right rally and a Muslim rally, they will always side with the Muslim rally, regardless of what's going on. And recently, they kept importing these people en masse. And when you import people from the Middle East, you import Middle Eastern trouble, right? And so, like, Kier Starmer wanted the Muslim population in his nation to be absolutely aware that they're not allied with the United States, that these bombings, you know, like, they may be done by Western countries, but they're not done by Britain. And this is why Donald Trump has warned Europe about the migration. It's like, look, you guys, maybe you don't agree with us in Israel. Like, that's fine. You know, you don't have to agree with us. It's okay. But you want our military. Like, you want NATO, right? You want American military so that you don't pay for your own military. Because historically speaking, when Europe pays for its own military, it used to have like 30 to 40% of its own nation's GDP, like individual nations' GDP was like 30 to 40% paid for military. And on top of that, when you have a military, you want to deploy it somewhere. And when you deploy it somewhere, you get wars. Like, Europe has constantly been plagued with wars ever since World War II. All the way up until World War II, right? And now that we have the NATO system and America guarantees the peace for Europe, there were no wars. But, like, if you want America's military, then you have to play by America's rules. And Kier Starmer and the Spanish seem to be like two nations that didn't get the memo. Holy shit, Hero Penguin, 50, what is CHF? Is it Hungarians? Switzerland voted, okay, never mind. Switzerland voted today, the final result should be in tomorrow. We even trust our postal voting because it's Switzerland. How does Kier Starmer manage to be even worse than some of the worst prime ministers ever? Screw him. I definitely think, like, he will go down in history as a negative. I genuinely, like, see, I do not know what to say. I understand why he's doing what he is doing. Like, again, for the Labour Party, they view the Muslims as the ones with legitimacy, right? Like, all their grievances or their complaints are legitimate because the Muslims legitimize the Labour Party. Like they're not for the British class worker. They're not for the British class farmer. They're fucking with the farmer. They're taxing the worker. They're not for, like, Britain traditions. They piss on free speech. They're a surveillance state. Like, they genuinely want everyone's iPhone, everyone's private messages to be able to be read. They want everyone to dox themselves before using social media. Nothing is British about this. Right? So, like, from his position, he gets his power from the Muslim population and from the women. And so I understand why he's doing it. But if you're looking at, like, the grand political view, you know, you're looking at the world stage and you're thinking in 100 years, distancing yourself from the United States that was giving you access to their military and their intelligence reports, to have Donald Trump say that we don't trust the British anymore. Do you understand how damaging that is? That's not damaging because, like, the United States and Israel doesn't trust you. That's damaging because it tells every other nation, it's like, hold on a little bit, if the Americans don't trust them, like, maybe the Americans know something about it. And now the Germans are reconsidering, and the French are reconsidering, and every other nation is reconsidering. It's like, okay, what does Trump mean by that? Why exactly aren't they trustworthy? Like, what do they do with this info? Notice how, like, governments usually don't talk like that. Not even Trump. Not even Trump in the past was talking like this. No one talks like this, you know? Oh, yes, we think that our partners are untrustworthy. That is like, okay, like, for normal people, that doesn't mean much. Okay, like, for the average Joe, for, you know, the citizen, like, that doesn't mean much. But for diplomats, for heads of state, for people that work in politics, that is extremely toxic. Especially, like, who said it? It's the U.S. president. Do you think that the age of verification is coming from all the countries around the world? Because there is massive unrest or conflict coming. No, I think the age of verification is coming simply because most nations wanted it anyway. It's just that the technology to do it wasn't there. So, like, up until now, if you wanted to moderate the internet, you would need to hire an army of moderators. And the only nation that could afford to do it properly was China. But now, because of artificial intelligence, it is actually possible to monitor the internet. And so the reason they're doing it is because of AI. And it's because the moment some nations started it, others are following through. There's a lot of money behind the scenes, like the companies that do the age verification, they're making billions of dollars. And so every time a new nation joins the party, they're making even more money. So it's in their interest to try and convince politicians. And the story with, like, we're doing it to protect children seems to be a story that the left and the right accepts. So there is very little pushback. It's also because, like, most people are used by now to have their privacy violated on the internet. So most people generally don't care. Now, good news is that Japan has basically stated that by law they will never allow age verification. And so as long as you have, like, one country like that, then everyone can use a VPN to Japan. And so they don't have to use the age verification. However, the United Kingdom wants to go a step further. And they basically want to make it so that every single VPN charges people money. Every single VPN requires people to dox themselves when using the VPN. In which case, I guess, like, people will use Tor. But the problem with Tor is that the websites, as I understand it, they take a lot longer to load. And so will people drop or convenience in order to be able to navigate the internet? And the answer is yes. I think, like, if you're a kid, like, imagine when you are 16, right? And you want to see a titty online. And it's probably not even about porn. It's just like, you do not accept that the government shouldn't allow you to be on social media. Aren't you going to talk to other kids and find out how to bypass it? And aren't you going to install Tor? And the thing is, like, most parents, like, do not agree that their kids shouldn't be on social media. Like, for instance, in Eastern Europe, I can tell you, like, if the kid is 16, no one gives a fuck. Like, no parent thinks so. Now, if the kid is 5 or 6, yeah, sure. Like, most people believe that screen time is a problem. You shouldn't let your kid just have, your smartphone 24/7. Or you shouldn't let your kid watch TV 24/7. Like, this was actually a problem even when I was growing up. And parents weren't even freaking out about IRC when I was growing up. You know, like too much time at video games. Like that was a problem. Go outside and play. So it's not like the government discovered parenting, right? Like the idea of like parenting a kid properly always existed. The difference, I guess, is that now some parents like genuinely don't believe. It's like, okay, hold on, my kid is 16. In the UK, he has a right to vote. He can join the military if he wants to. If I give him money, he can even start his own business. He can drive a car. Why shouldn't he be able to use Facebook? This is insane. Let him install Tor. Right? And then the parents like legitimately don't fucking care. And I'm still like genuinely curious. Okay? Like what exactly is the damage if a 16-year-old watches a titty on the internet? Now, I'm not saying that people should show titties to 16-year-olds, but I'm saying, like, if you're a parent and you discover that your 16-year-old son is masturbating, right? He went through puberty, he's interested in women, and, you know, he goes and visits OnlyFans or some shit. Like, should I be traumatized as a parent? Should I, you know, like, send him to a psychologist or send him to the priest? Or should I just, you know, like, have a conversation with him? It's like, how often are you doing this? And, you know, like, legitimately, like, this is a question that most parents have to wonder. Now, of course, if it's a 5-year-old or 6-year-old, that's a different conversation. But we're talking about the late teens, right? Like, when he's at the age of Alexander the Great. If you catch him, you catch your son on the internet watching titties, is that like on a level of 1, it's don't care about it, encourage it, to a level of 10, what the fuck is going on with my child? Like, what exactly do we rate this as? I mean, to be honest, like, I don't even know if I should ask this from Americans who believe that at the age of 20, a kid can actually serve in the military and kill people, can drive cars and start a family, but he can't drink a bottle of beer. Okay, so I need to ask another European that, in my opinion, has a little bit more common sense. By the way, I still don't understand, though. Like, why is it that in the United States, you cannot drink a beer at the age of 20? Like that, why 21? This is what I don't get, right? Because, like, okay, 18, fine. In my opinion, it would be 16. I think, like, kids should be able to drink alcohol at 16. Again, like, the age of consent being 18, like, that's American. The age of consent around the world, the average is 15. I think 15 is too low. But, like, 16, right? Like, I know how I was at 16. Like, why should I be able to drink a glass of wine when I'm 16? What? No? It's kind of weird. It's like, why this bizarre take? Because Americans are crazy. Youngs can drive at 16. Yeah, I think like 16 is reasonable for people to be able to drink alcohol. Obviously, you know, like, I wouldn't be happy if my kid drinks vodka at 16. Like, I would definitely crack down on that. But if he happens to, you know, go to a party and drink some beer and maybe a glass of wine, so what? You know, just don't come home wasted. That's what I would say. It's like, know how to keep your liquor, okay? Don't get into fights. Don't do anything that you regret. Don't come home wasted. Like, I want to be able to talk with you without slurring. That's it. You know, like, oh, he drank beer. Okay. How old is he? 16? Okay. Voting age should be 30. I don't think voting age matters. No. I think that rich people should vote and poor people shouldn't. If you don't own property, you shouldn't vote. How about that? Now that's really European, by the way. That's the way my great-grandparents were raised, you know? If you don't own land, if you don't have a stake in the actual country, maybe you shouldn't vote. What I don't understand is if you can't vote, why do you still have to pay taxes? Because you're producing wealth. That is a good question, though. It's like no taxation without representation. Yeah, I guess, like, if a 16-year-old manages to own property, right? Like, I don't know the legal system in America. Like, can a 16-year-old hold property? I assume he can. Like, you can inherit it, right? Like, you can have a family inheritance. And so, yeah, like, you can literally not be able to vote, and you can still pay taxes. You can be a 5-year-old, I guess, right? Your parents die in a car crash. You inherit their fortune. Obviously, like, it's not going to be in your name. It's going to be under the tutor's name. But he will pay taxes in your name. So, yes, like, you're absolutely correct with this. Only the Arabs and the Chinese get to vote in European cities. I'm telling you this. If it was like literally you have property and you vote, I would actually believe that the Arabs and the Chinese would unfuck the economy. Sure, like culturally and everything like that is going to be bad. But I'm telling you, if like only the people that have property in those nations get to vote, they would fix the economy. Because like they're interested in their property. We used to be allowed to drink legally at 18 in the United States, but MAD had a lot to do changing the age, if I'm not mistaken. Taxation is more robbery than theft. Okay, let's talk about taxation and theft a little bit, because I actually found this very interesting. So, there was this American officer that served in Afghanistan, and he wrote a very interesting book. He wrote about how the people he was training in Afghanistan, they were farmers and they were villagers. They weren't soldiers, right? And it was very difficult to instill any sense of order into them. But one of the things that the Afghanistani wanted to know is how are the Americans so rich? Like, how can the Americans just, like go there and bring water to the desert and build roads and stuff? It's like, how are they so wealthy? And this actually was very difficult for the American officer because he realized that the Afghanistani had absolutely no concept of taxation. Like they live in like these big families, these clans, and they have like various villages where they grow sheep and stuff like that, and they're desert nomads and stuff. But they have no concept of taxation. Now they do have a concept like a local warlord conquers you and you pay tribute, or the Christian pays the jizya. Like they understand that, but they don't understand like the concept of European or American taxation. And so the American explains it to him as best as he can that, every single citizen has to pay taxes. And the Afghanistani go like, wait, that's theft. It's like, okay. So like you're explaining taxes to this guy that doesn't know anything about the world, and the first thing that he is thinking is like taxation is theft. Now, here's the interesting part. He is right. But if you live in a world without taxes, you get Afghanistan. In other words, you get a world where, you don't have, you don't really have like agricultural subsidies. You don't really have the ability of the government to organize long logistic chains. You do not have like governments that can organize census and mobilize the military, right? You have like a very, I guess like medieval European system where, you got like groups of places and they have like a warlord that in Europe we call the Duke. There they probably call something else. But that's pretty much what you get, right? Like in a system without taxation, you get Afghanistan. Now, is that a better system? For some people, yes. Like if you're an individual that like just likes to farm, or you're just interested in the land and having a large family and you don't care about technology and anything like that, that system is better. But if you're a city folk and you enjoy everything the city life offers, I guess you gotta pay your taxes. The only difference is like at some point it does become theft. At some point, it gets a little bit overboard, and especially when the government doesn't follow your interests. I'll take Afghanistan with 0% tax over 90%. Well, again, like as I mentioned, like some people legitimately like the Afghanistani system. That's fair. I'm not saying it's a wrong take. Like if you enjoy the life of the wild, I guess, and it's not necessarily the wild, but you have like a small community, like you have people that know everyone else. You travel around, you have your own soldier and your mujahideen or whatever they call them. And that's pretty much it. It's a harsh life, isolated. You can't tame the land. You can't bring water to the desert. You can't build roads and infrastructure, but maybe you don't need to. You're living the same way that your father used to live. Literally how the United States Navy got started. Protecting U.S. merchant ships from the barbarian pirates. Also, check my super chat above. I called 99% of your server incels this morning, but I redefined your server users as men that have sex, but can make their chick come. See, why can't Zenith know how to bypass the YouTube filter? I wonder. They can make chicks come. Oh, it's okay, honey. You were the best I've ever had. Matters fucking incel. Right. Citizens are slaves for the state. Yeah, but like the Afghanistani, do they really have a state? I mean, the land is called Afghanistan, but again, you have like the cities, and then you have like the rural areas, which are basically nomad tribes in the desert that moves from one water well to another. Right? So like technically they're not slaves. I mean, they don't have... I mean, there's no one to enforce Afghanistani law there, right? Like no one goes into the desert in order to find like the water merchants in order to try and tax them. So theoretically they're free. Now they have like a different state in the sense of you have to follow like the elders, right? Like every one of these traveling desert people, they have like their elderly and they set the law for that tribe. So you're not like, in no human society are you actually free. Not even the leader is free. Like he's still chained by tradition and he needs to maintain legitimacy, but you're not going to be beholden by a politician that doesn't know you. So like I guess that's the closest thing you get to freedom. They don't have a state, and that's why they can buy military-grade firearms from street vendors. Yeah, like literally in Afghanistan, there was this guy from the Lotus Eaters, Calvin. What the fuck was his name? Shit, I forgot his name. Callum, I think. He went to Afghanistan and he noticed that you can literally go into a bazaar and you can buy an AK-47. You can buy an American weapon. You don't have to show ID. You don't have anything. Like, you literally give money and you take the weapon. It's like, you know, buying an over-the-counter thing. Callum, yeah. Like, it showed that he went to Afghanistan and there was, like, this bazaar. And inside the bazaar, you literally, like, if you had money, you had, like, how much it costed. It was, like, a kiosk. And you paid money and they gave you a fully functional assault rifle. Over the counter. Like, no law, no nothing, no checks, nothing. Like, it's insane. Yeah, that's more freedom than America. Like, America says they have a Second Amendment, but to be fair, yes, it's all thanks to the USA. That is correct. I assume the guns are not manufactured there. In Pakistan, tribal areas too? Oh my goodness. Yeah, you say freedom is nice, I guess, yeah. We would go to the bazaar to buy AK bags for the Afghani army because the crap was mod were given more crap. Yeah, no, unironically, Afghanistan, from that definition, was actually more free than the United States. In the United States, most countries don't protect your personal property, so they don't deserve the taxes. Hold on. Let me see what else we can talk about. I love this one, right? The main reason that Trump attacked Iran is that he had a fact-based feeling that Iran is going to attack the United States. And this is, you know, like fact-based feeling. Like, look at the screen. This is exactly how I reacted as well when I was reading it. It's like a fact-based feeling. It's not even like the Iranians are going to strike at U.S. allies. No. The Iranians are going to attack the United States itself. How do you know? A fact-based feeling. Oh. Oh, fucked base feeling. Okay. I'm actually surprised how Genshin Impact doesn't manage to upset people. Um, they managed to get away with this character. And yes, like, this is an actual character in the game. Her super ability is to get privileged by becoming white. No one is upset though. Like, I haven't seen anyone raging, so I guess, like, the world is healing. I can imagine this, like, 6 years ago, it would have caused a meltdown. Now it's like, okay, I guess. Is there still an arrest warrant for Netanyahu? Yes. No, like, Netanyahu... Okay, listen, I will explain to you the whole thing with Benjamin Netanyahu and his arrest warrant, right? War crimes aren't that serious these days. No, they are. They are. But, like, look. After World War II, since we had, like, the worst calamity in humanity's 200,000 years of existence, which is the Holocaust, which is worse than the Mongols, it's worse than the Atlantic slave trade, it's worse than the Indians getting genocided, worse than the Black Death, worse than World War I. It's the worst thing ever, right? Like the Holocaust. Everyone agrees, right? Everyone agrees. And since that time, they have founded this thing called the International Criminal Court, the ICC. And the ICC is this organization designed to arrest future Hitlers. Okay, so like the one thing that they had with the Nazis is that technically they haven't committed any crime, right? Because like there was no law in Germany or in any other place in the world saying you can't genocide people. And we usually operate that if the law doesn't exist, everyone that violated the law, they managed to get away with it. But once the law is created, from that point onward, people cannot break it, right? So the idea is that an unjust system is where laws are applied retroactively. Because you can't obey a law that you don't know it exists. However, during the Nuremberg trial, it was said that no, like, the Holocaust went against human consciousness. It was a crime against humanity, right? So, like, every single human should have known it's not okay. And so, you know, like, there was this conversation, like, well, how can we make it sure so that in the future that thing doesn't happen? And they created the ICC, the International Criminal Court. Now, the ICC is a international organization. And so, in an international system, you need states that guarantee the treaty be abided, right? Because, like, the ICC doesn't have a military. They can't really send people and arrest them in the United States. They can't arrest people inside Israel, right? And so the member states are the ones that guarantee. The United States is not a member state, okay? I don't know if Israel is a member of the ICC. Hold on, let me check. That would be funny if they are. So, is Israel a member of the ICC? But anyway, this is the issue. The ICC normally has currently charged terrorists, warlords, you know, like people that aren't really important in world geopolitics, specifically to avoid the situation that they caused right now. And Israel also is not a state party to the Roman salute, right? So they're not part of the ICC, right? Like, this is what people need to understand. Israel, Russia, the United States, they're not signatures of the ICC. Europe is, Canada is, I think Australia is, like a lot of other Western nations. And so recently the ICC decided to put Benjamin Netanyahu and Vladimir Putin on the list. This has created very difficult geopolitical problems. Because now Benjamin Netanyahu cannot visit Europe. Like, he literally cannot physically land in the European Union. If he lands in the European Union, he gets arrested at the airport, right? Because the European nations are signatories of the treaty, and the treaty becomes law. Like, it would be illegal for a European government not to arrest him. Same with Putin. Except Putin has traveled to South Africa, and South Africa is a signature of the treaty. And basically, Putin, by traveling there, he wanted to show that he has a big dick. And it's like, what is South Africa going to do? Are they going to arrest the Russian leader? No. And I think like they actually had to change their interpretation of the treaty specifically to allow Putin to travel to South Africa. But basically, when you ask, is Benjamin Netanyahu not getting arrested? Well, the people that are supposed to arrest him can't arrest him because they can't send it doesn't work that way. You don't send an invasion force into Israel to arrest their prime minister, right? But if Benjamin Netanyahu was to travel to any of these member states, he would get arrested. For example, there was a Romanian prime minister that actually wanted to invite Benjamin Netanyahu, and he was mocked and ridiculed by the opposition because it's like, do you know that the Romanians are the signatories of the ICC? It's like, what do you want? Do you want the geopolitical incident? Like, do you want us to choose between committing suicide by arresting the Prime Minister of Israel? Because it's not Israel we're going to worry about, it's the Americans. And we need the Americans in order to be part of NATO. So, like, are you insane, or do you want to piss off the Europeans for not arresting him? Like, what are you going to do? ICC is left hard-coded. Yeah, it is. Listen, it doesn't matter if ICC is left hard-coded or not. What matters is that the nations have signed the treaty. When you're a nation and you sign a treaty in a democratic rule of law, any government that follows after the signature has either the choice to leave the treaty, like that's still on the table, you can leave the treaty. But as long as you're in the treaty, you have to follow it. It's pretty much how international law works. And if you don't follow it, you get sanctions. You get sanctions from the other member states, because the member states will be like, hold on a little bit. Are we being retarded for signing treaties and following them? Or like, are we going to allow this cheeky little shit to get away with it? Imagine the United States being in the ICC within the last 12 years. It would have been utterly schizo. Well, the United States can actually send Maduro to the ICC. Apparently, again, the International Criminal Court absolutely loves putting world leaders now on their list. And so, imagine if Maduro gets found not guilty in New York, which is a possibility because it is an actual leftist organization. There's nothing stopping the United States from deporting Maduro to an ICC-friendly state, and then he will get arrested there. So, Bush said he would invade the Netherlands if any Americans were prosecuted there for war crimes. This is something that's quite common for America. You guys really like your soldiers, even though when they're assholes. Like, this is something that only America does. I don't even know if it's actually a good policy or not. Like, there was this situation in Romania where an American soldier got wasted, started driving, and killed a woman. Like, just a case of drunk driving, you know? Like, this is not a political case. It's not ideological. You know, it's not... No, like, he literally drank and drove and killed someone. Now, Romania wanted to punish him, right? Because, like, America went, no, you can't punish him. We'll have him. And, of course, you know, the Romanian government obliged. But the question is, like, do you genuinely want people that drink, drive, and kill others? You know, like, okay, he went to America. What is the moral lesson that he got from that? Nothing, right? So, like, what's to stop him doing the same in America? But, I mean, you know, like, the government really likes the fact that he's an American soldier, and so... It's because we want to enforce no one screwing with Americans except Americans, even when they're 100% in the wrong. Minorzicon, live stream catch. Hell yeah. How do you do it, V? Well, I'm about to end the live stream in like 6 more minutes. Don't touch our boats, our men, our stuff. To be fair though, like, I as a Romanian don't really give a shit. From my perspective, it's like, okay, well, the Americans saved the Romanian government money for imprisoning him, right? But the Americans basically took a psychopathic idiot, and now this is their problem. Like, if he's going to drink and drive over there, I mean, sure, you know. He got prison time stateside. I generally don't know what happened afterwards. I do not know if he got prison time or not for it. But again, like, it's not an ideological motivated crime. Like, the Romanian government didn't try to frame him. Interesting how the Americans didn't really fight for Andrew Tate. I mean, to be fair, Andrew Tate wasn't a soldier, so there is that. The loophole is to cooperate with the Americans, but make it a massive news media shit show, so the Americans have to go out of their way to make amends. And this is literally what Romania did. Like, it was on the news 24/7, and it was like a public outrage. And I don't blame them, you know, like, Romania is very tough on drinking and driving. We even have, like, police checkpoints that will verify your alcohol. Like, you're forced by law to allow the police officer to use the breath test. And if the breath test comes positive, then you're allowed to ask them for blood works. And, yeah, I mean, again, like, the culture here is literally don't drink and drive. Like, not a beer, not a little bit of alcohol, nothing, okay? And so when you find out that, well, this guy, not just drank and drive, but, like, abused his station, like, as an American soldier, no one is going to stop him, right? Because, like, they have these cars that pretty much give them some sort of, not legal immunity, but, like, the police officers know, oh, okay, like, this is an American from an American base, and they don't fuck with them, right? So he abused that, he got drunk, he killed a person, and now the Americans are like, no, we're making it go away. And so it's like, okay, sure, you're making it go away, but, like, it was a 24/7 media coverage, just non-stop, every single channel, everyone was outraged, everyone had opinions. Putin went to South Africa. He did right after the ICC called him out that he's a war criminal. He's kidnapping Ukrainian children, I think. Like, that's the accusation. Like and share the stream chats. Oh, I give it up hope. No one likes and shares my streams anymore. Remember when America bases in Romania trafficked children? I don't blame them. Everyone did. The Romanians did. The Americans did. Literally everyone did. It was like after the fall of the communists, it was the Western hobby to traffic children from Eastern European states. Okay, like if Americans didn't do it, I would have to ask, like, what is wrong with you? Like, everyone is doing it, right? Like, why are you missing out on the opportunity? It's just like a 5-year window. After that, it closes. Like, come on. You know, don't you want some baby trafficking? Don't you want some child harvesting organs? Like, aren't you a developed nation? Do you not have the doctors to perform the surgeries? Like, that's okay. We'll give you our own. The Romanian president actually was accused of collaborating and facilitating that. There's an old documentary with one of our presidents. Fuck is his name? Iohannis. Yeah, Klaus Iohannis. No one cares. No one gave a shit. And it's like, if people don't care and give a shit, why should I get outraged? Huh? Like, do you think I enjoy being outraged? Do you think I enjoy getting angry and upset over stuff that doesn't have a solution? No. Oh, we're moving on. At least we don't have an Epstein case file. So there's that. ICC in Romania, right? Like, no Romanian, as far as I know, has went to Epstein Island. And Epstein is now the talk of the day. Like, everyone talks about Epstein far more than they did during the Democrats. And so, like, I understand this is the worst thing ever. Nothing worse than Epstein could happen. So, like, at least we didn't have that. That Iranian professor is annoying, but calling the Western government the Epstein class is a good find. If the law is not enforced or cannot be enforced, that is just farting on a piece of paper. Well, no, but, like, the law definitely wasn't enforced during the fall of communism. Like, after the communist regime fell, there was actually a period of lawlessness in Eastern Europe. Yes, it was. I think it's like 3 or 4 years of transition, in which many people could do many bad things. It was a time of uncertainty. If the more powerful party breaks it or doesn't want to enforce it, then what? You're a criminal, okay, but nothing is going to happen. You only have to enforce laws when you don't like someone. Listen, I'll tell you how it's like. Most laws get enforced, but then when you reach international crime, like usually between two nations, or when you reach a political crime, then the law is actually weaponized. Okay? So, and this is true for most nations around human history. If it's a high political case, like for instance, in America you had the George Floyd trial, right? With Officer Derek Chauvin. That was political. Like, that was political. And so you're not going to get an objective ruling. Even the judge basically at some point said, like, yeah, we can't find a jury that hasn't heard of this case in order to trial him fairly. Because, like, the whole thing was so mediatized, like, it was on every single television that everyone had a subjective opinion about it, right? So, that's one. Second, the weaponization against Donald Trump. Like, all of a sudden, they changed laws in New York. They interpret them differently just to have Donald Trump mugshot, okay? So, like, when it's about that, yes, the law is not fair. But, like, usually, in most countries, like, no, the law is fair to you as an individual. But even then, right? Like, for instance, in America, there is a trick that a lot of people have found out. In America, you can't bribe judges. Like, you can't pay the money. But what you can do, if you get in trouble with the law, you'll notice that a lot of judges, when they become older, they stop being judges. Instead, they become lawyers. And so if you hire him, like the judge, as a lawyer, and he's representing you in front of his own colleagues that he used to work with, and they know he's a judge, they usually rule favorably, right? Why? Because they know that when they're old, they will become lawyers as well. Or if you have donations, right? Like, you will notice law firms donate to judges. Like, why would a law firm donate to a judge? Usually when the judge is campaigning. Well, because, like, if you hire a lawyer from that law firm, the judge remembers who donated for him, right? Like, it's not a bribe. It's just that the judge remembers. And so, like, again, the law is the same, but then you have, like, the little folks. And they sometimes find cynical ways in making sure that the law is a little bit closer to their interests. Anyway, chat, I think we're going to end it here. I thank you all for the super chats. I need to do an old Pippa and read them again. So, SRC Maker, thank you for the $15. No, sorry, $20. SRC Maker, thank you for the $20. Heroin, thank you for the 50 Swedish money. And Minorzicon, thank you for the $2. And thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.